The people of Pompeii did not wake up knowing they were living through the last hours of their city.
They woke to work, trade, prayer, hunger, noise, argument, and routine. Bakers prepared bread. Shopkeepers opened their counters. Families moved through painted rooms and narrow streets. Workers carried tools. Children passed walls marked by color and public life. Above them stood Mount Vesuvius. Its slopes were green. Its soil was fertile. Its presence was familiar. To the people living beneath it, the mountain may have seemed permanent, silent, and safe. But in AD 79, Vesuvius erupted with a force that turned a busy Roman city into one of the most haunting archaeological sites in the world.
Pompeii was not destroyed in a single instant. It was overwhelmed step by step, hour by hour, until streets, homes, temples, shops, and human lives disappeared beneath ash, pumice, and volcanic debris. This is the story of Pompeii, the city buried in a day.
Pompeii stood in Campania, near the Bay of Naples, in one of the most prosperous regions of the Roman world. The land was rich, the climate was mild, the sea connected the city to trade, travel, and the wider empire. Pompeii was active, crowded, and complex. It held wealthy homes and small workshops, public baths and cramped rooms, temples and taverns, beauty and hardship. It was a place where Roman civilization was not an idea. It was daily life. But beneath that life was danger. Years before the eruption, a major earthquake had damaged Pompeii and nearby towns. Walls cracked, buildings collapsed. Repairs were still underway when Vesuvius erupted. The people of Pompeii knew the ground could shake, but they did not understand the mountain the way modern science does. They had warning signs, but not enough knowledge to know what they meant. When the eruption began, a towering column of ash, gas, and volcanic material rose into the sky. Pliny the Younger, watching from across the Bay of Naples, later described a vast cloud rising above Vesuvius. Today, eruptions of this kind are called Plinian, named after his account. But for the people below, there was only a darkening sky. Then the ash and pumice began to fall. At first, some people may have believed they could survive by staying indoors. Others may have gathered valuables, searched for relatives, or escaped while the roads were still open. Not everyone died in Pompeii. Evidence suggests that many people fled before the worst phase arrived. But those who waited too long found themselves inside a city, becoming harder to escape by the hour. Pumice and lapilli piled up in the streets. Roofs strained under the weight. Doors became blocked. Air filled with dust. Daylight faded. Shelter became danger. The same walls that had protected families could now trap them inside rooms filling with volcanic debris. Some victims were crushed when roofs and walls collapsed. Others were caught where escape had become impossible. Pompeii was being buried from above. Then the disaster entered its deadliest stage. Parts of the eruption column collapsed, sending pyroclastic surges down from Vesuvius. These were fast-moving clouds of superheated gas, ash, and volcanic material. They were far more lethal than falling pumice alone. By the time these surges reached Pompeii, the city had already been battered, darkened, and partly buried. For those still inside, there was almost no chance to outrun what was coming. Heat, ash, and choking air could kill within moments. The city of voices, footsteps, prayers, tools, wheels, ovens, and open doors fell silent. Pompeii was not the only place destroyed. Herculaneum, Oplontis, Stabiae, and villas across the region were also buried or devastated.
But Pompeii became the most famous because it preserved something extraordinary: a Roman city uninterrupted.
Beneath the ash, walls kept their paintings. Ovens remained in place. Streets held the marks of wheels. Counters, courtyards, shrines, tools, jars, and household objects stayed where people had left them. Pompeii was not preserved because time was kind. It was preserved because catastrophe sealed it away. For centuries, the buried city disappeared from ordinary memory. Then, beginning in the 18th century, excavations slowly brought Pompeii back into view. What emerged was more than a ruin. It was a record of daily life at the moment it stopped. Pompeii showed historians the Roman world beyond emperors, armies, and monuments. It revealed shopkeepers, enslaved workers, wealthy homeowners, Laborers, children, merchants, priests, and ordinary people, whose lives were rarely preserved in written history. It also revealed the human cost of disaster. More than 1,000 victims have been found in and around Pompeii. The full number who died remains uncertain. Some were crushed, trapped, or overtaken by the final surges. Their casts have become some of the most recognizable images in archaeology. But they should not be treated only as symbols of tragedy. They were people. They lived in a real city, beneath a mountain that seemed harmless until the day it was not. That is why Pompeii still holds our attention. It does not show us a lost world from a distance. It brings us close enough to see the bread ovens, the doorways, the painted rooms, and the final spaces where ordinary people faced an extraordinary disaster.
The eruption of Vesuvius did not end the Roman Empire. It did not change civilization overnight, but it preserved one of the clearest windows into the ancient world, and one of history's most powerful warnings.
A city can seem permanent, an empire can feel secure, a mountain can appear silent. Until the sky turns black, the streets vanish, and ordinary life becomes archaeology.
At Pompeii, the fault line was not a border or a battlefield. It was the thin line between a civilization that believed tomorrow would come and the moment history buried it. Fault lines of history. Subscribe for more cinematic documentaries about the disasters, empires, wars, and turning points that revealed how fragile civilization can be.